GOKU, again, waiting on parts or waiting on a massive fitting list.
What have we got?
We got parts on deck, George.
That was loud.
What was that? Big book. Seems like 2 pounds already, doesn't it? 6, 7, is that what I said? 30.2 on it, 30.1, 65. That should be 0.15, which should put us what it means to be a boy. I just wish someone would hold my hand. So all the fittings have turned up for GOKU. Where's this dog on?
Yeah. Nah. So. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. It's just it's called custom crimp machine. So.
All the fittings have turned up for the dry sump lines. All these BMRS fittings from Motorsport Connections where we got them. We've got all the fittings, I've got the hose. This is dash 16 hose. And last video I said, oh, it's very not flexible. It's hard to do because dash 16 isn't flexible. This hose from BMRS is sick. It is. This is convoluted PTFE liner, which means it's basically like your vacuum cleaner hose. That's what convoluted means. It's like that, which means it's so flexible. It's sick. It actually makes me excited how flexible it is. Still waiting on the diff for the thing, but that's fine. We can get all these dry sump lines done up into the boot. Everything can be completely plumbed up with the sump dummied in there on the dummy block, which I've got in there at the moment. And then we can, once it's all done, take it all out, take the dummy block out, and then as soon as that engine, his actual engine is ready to go with the diff and everything on it, we can just drop that in and it'll all just plumb up. We won't actually have to do any work to it. So that's what I'm currently doing. That's what I'm going to keep doing. That's what you're going to keep watching. We got a new GoPro. George is very excited. He said, I got a new GoPro. And I said, ooh, something like that. And then that. We'll just go up here. I've got these little brackets that I've sort of already got half made there. That'll get tucked up, but shoot them through to the back. I got to make the bulkhead plate for the back. This guy's delivering tyres. I'll be back.
What you got there?
You need to get the logo, mate. And zoom up there. Deliciousness.
Get the dry sump lines in, get the bulkhead plate made, and then up into there. That's the plan. But this is the line. Very rough.
I watched the rest of that fireman show. Whatever it is. The fire one on Netflix. What? Firefighters, inmates.
Firefighters, inmates. You weren't talking to me about it.
That ended really. What did I watch before that? What did you tell me to watch? What did you watch last? The Kid That Ate the Universe.
No, that's still, again, not me. You on crack? Saturday night. Got home, had a shower, put Flames on the TV, watched it. Pretty good. Maybe I'll watch the sequel, you know? Find out where Dusty goes next. Just gotta make sure I get it right, you know? Don't really get a couple goes at it, really only get one go at it. It's gotta be right the first time. The nut, that's huge. I don't want that big a hole, you know?
Wow.
But if I weld the nuts to it, it's gonna have to.
I weld the nut to it.
Or I just run them all the same way.
What are you talking about?
Goes that way.
Why? What can't go the other way?
Or I can just put them through that way and then just like
bottom.
pinch on. That would work still. I'll think about that later.
You put a hole and then just nut from the bottom?
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Is that even visiting anything? Have you seen any of that?
It is.
Well,
Seeing everything.
You're getting most of that.
Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the stuff that you like?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, shonk.
What's it look like inside?
Like a vacuum cleaner. I don't know if I can hold it still enough for you to focus.
It's also very dark in there.
Hiya, Georgie. Bing. Go, Dave. Give us the rundown.
Tech tips with Dave.
Dave knows.
Let's go. Tech tips. So I've just made this line here. It's -16. What's that mean, Sam?
You're telling the story.
Big. Tech tips.
Is that it? That was the tech tip. We're in the middle of the dry sump installation in GOKU. Here, this is the PRP integrated billet sump diff situation. This is actually the one off of Big Deals. It's just in here for mock-up on a dummy block at the moment because we are still waiting for the top plate of the diff. So the way that PRP does all their billet stuff is they do a run of each piece, right? So they cut 30 billet sumps, and then they cut 30 diff housings, and then they cut 30 front diff cutters, right? That means that you don't get the whole thing straight away if you're in a rush like we are. Shout out, obviously, they're still helping, like
proper true yarn they have over there.
They're sending us the bits. So I've got the sump on the engine sealed, then we're going to get the diff housing, then Juddy can build the diff, then we can put the diff on the sump, then the engine can go in the car. So we're still ahead, we're still like...
Can we plug it for a
plug it. We're still, what's the word? Like we're still ahead of schedule compared to what we would be if they just waited till they had all the parts and then sent it to us. But because we're impatient, we're trying to get things done as quickly as we can. We're getting them sort of in waves. So we've got Big Deals in here is the moral of the story. So with this setup, all the scavenge is internal on the sump and it all goes directly into the pump, which means you don't have to have... Do you have a job? Why aren't you doing it? So they're all internal, so we don't have to run any of those lines. So pretty much there's two main lines that run from this sump. Because we've got the tank in the boot, they've got to run the whole length of the car, which is the return or the scavenge. So that's the oil that the pump sucks out of the engine and it sends it back to the tank. And then we've got the feed line at the front here, which is the oil that has to come from the tank into the pump, which then gets pumped into the engine. I've made these secondary brackets. So if you're running smaller lines like fuel lines or stuff like this, which is somebody's already done previously before us, you can get away with just zip tying it to the brake lines and it's nice and tucked up and out of the way. Because these lines are so large, I didn't want to go and sort of just like add to that, you know, and up into here. So I've got the 1-16 line already run, which you can see there. It's quite busy, but everything's working so far, which is good. And I think everything will work, which is nice.
Yep. Dave's tech tip. Serve as your hoists. They go down quicker. Tech tips. Come in, George. Come have a look. Come have a look in here.
Gonna give us the walkthrough, Dave.
Dave's walkthrough. Oh, it's oil. Oh, it's excess oil.
We got the return line coming up into here. Feed line's this silver one, so feed line is under vacuum, so you've got to run a vacuum rated hose. This is the breather line, comes down into the catch can back through the floor to a filter underneath on the outside, very good. I've also got this -10 line here, which is the drain for the tank. So because this tank, where it sits, there's not many options. Again, street car, You can't put it over there because to drain it, that's where the fuel tank is. There's not really anywhere to mount it. You also need to be able to check the oil, so it has to be pretty much in this region. If it sits up here, it's too tall and the boot will hit it. If it sits up here, same problem, boot hits it, so it pretty much has to go on the wheel well. The drain bung goes into a line through the bulkhead plate into a cap on the other side, so you'll drain your oil from the underside of the car as well, and it's nice and easy to check the oil from there, which is good. Next thing, I don't know if I can actually
fuel hose microphone.
Probably like
As Sam said, silver hose, vacuum hose.
oh, this is too big to mock. I thought this might fit nicely to show you.
We're going to have to cut that.
Yeah, well, it's not going to go in there. If you pretend this is really nicely trimmed around all of that and there was a false floor, are you pretending?
Wow, that's amazing.
That's all you're going to sit like. You know,
The hoses.
you know what I'm saying? Like that's all you'll see is these two. There'll be three actually, there'll be one here too. Three nice and straight through the floor. This will all be false floor, all nicely trimmed, carpeted around the hoses. So it'll look nice and tidy. Even though there's a lot going on, there kind of has to be a lot going on because, as I said before, this is the only place I can get hoses through the car.
Can you translate what he just said?
Here we go. Why are you miming it? It makes it harder. That's not a translation.
But if it's a dry sump,
Yeah.
why is it wet?
All right, so we got the big deal. So we got GOKU's dry sump setup is all but finished on the chassis side of things. Not obviously, I just got to stop saying it. It annoys me when I watch myself say it. The chassis side of the things is all but done. I've got the tank in, the tank has been apart, cleaned, reassembled, tight, put in the car. All of this sort of stuff is all finalised. All these lines are on for the final time. And I've got the lines run underneath the car. They're not coming out again. I've flushed them, they're clean, they're ready to go. So I'm pretty much just got to put some foam in the catch can, and then I can put the catch can back in, put those lines on, and then I'm going to pull the dummy engine out, ready to receive the actual engine as soon as it's ready to go. So that's pretty much the dry sump install for the car. Turned out pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with it, considering how much is going on in such a little space. It's not easy to get everything to run nicely, but pretty happy with it. The bulkhead plate turned out nice. It looks nice and clean. There's no grommets or anything through the floor. Everything comes, straight up, straight in, all that, It's very nice. Yeah, I'm going to get the dummy block out, get that sump off because that's big deal sump, and I'm going to get it cleaned up, make sure it's perfectly Mickey Mouse clean, ready to go, because we're hoping to have the bottom end back for that car in like a few hours. Hopefully would be ideal. We'll see if that happens, but we're gonna prepare for that situation. We're also going to prepare for the situation that the diff turns up for this thing. So if the diff turns up, we've got all the parts, we are going to try and get this thing back together as well. It's Thursday. We want to go racing on Saturday. Whether it's in Sydney or whether it's in Brisbane, we're going to try and go racing somewhere. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but we are going to be prepared if it does. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. There has been talk of a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. The idea has been tossed around. Don't know if it's going to happen. We're actually very, very close. I think we're only like 200 off. So if for whatever reason we do a giveaway, we haven't told you about it, we're probably going to do something. So subscribe. Don't know what we're going to give away, but be prepared. That's today's, what do you call them? Not motto.
I know what you're talking about.
Today's message, affirmation. It's not an affirmation. Is it an affirmation or is it a message? Today's no, it's not really an affirmation, is it? Be prepared. I am prepared. That's an affirmation. I am prepared for the day. Be prepared for the day. I don't know. Be prepared for the giveaway. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next video. Bye. 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 You can take it.